Hi everyone, it's Mia, and today we are doing a sort of tutorial about how to set up a character sheet on Roll20 because I know a lot of people have trouble with it when they start. And yeah, there are a few things that aren't super duper obvious, and the Roll20 character sheets are really awesome for a lot of stuffs. So I figured I'd have that done so that people can refer to it when they're struggling with Roll20 character sheets. So what I'm going to do first, because I am a GM on this game, I can create a character. If you are not the GM will have the character created to you and will give you access. When you first create a new character, it will give you a random name that you can change into the name of your character that you want, like, I don't know, Adam. You can add an avatar. We'll ignore everything concerning the tokens. I might make a separate video about setting up tokens. And the DM can select what player has access to just the information. In Player's Journal will give you the portrait and whatever is in the short bio profile. Let's say that this is a character I'm making for myself, so it will only show up in my journal. Well, actually, everyone on this game has GM rights, so everyone will see it, but it doesn't matter. And can be edited and controlled by. This is the player that can see it, that can like use it, roll from it, edit it, see all the details. Let's say that we want it to be seen by all, but only edited by and controlled by one player. You can add tags as if you have a gazillion things in it. This is for the GM. As a player, you're just going to be given the character sheet. And here is everything that is in the scene by. If you edit it, that would be what's in the bio and info down here. And then you can have GM notes visible only by the GM. And that is what you have access to. These two tabs are what you have access to if you are able to edit and control the character. Now, a few things that are done automatically. If you choose your class, say monk, or let's pick a spellcasting class actually for later. Say you're a cleric. It will automatically pick your your proficiencies in saving throws. Fighter, it's strength and constitution. Paladin, it's also wisdom and charisma, and so on. If you set your level, it will automatically adjust your proficiency bonus. As you can see here, it went to 3 from if you are level 20, you have 6 proficiency bonuses, and adjusting the level and the class will automatically give you what's your spellcasting ability, what's your spell save DC, what's your spell attack bonus, and how many spell slots you have on your spell page. Then that's the things that are done automatically. There are no automatic things for the races that will add your bonuses or add your features. But for the classes, it is done. However, if you're using a custom class, a homebrew or a non-Earth Arcana class, you can, under the little cogwheel here, you can set it as use custom class, give the custom class a name, a hit die, a spellcasting ability, an amount of spell slots, and saves. We are not going to do that for this. And you can modify the amount of spell slots here. Like you have the usual full cleric, half like the paladin, full like cleric, druid, wizard, half like paladin, ranger, and third. It's to determine the amount of spell slots you get, and you can further customize by giving more spell slots. If it is, again, a custom class, which it isn't. If you have several classes, you can multi-class here. You can also here set things like, hey, I'm a Goliath, my carrying capacity is doubled, except that I personally don't worry about carrying capacity, but it's a thing that you can do. You can set things like halfling luck, which will automatically reroll the ones for you. And you can add things like arcane fighter, arcane rogue to give you those spell slots that you have from those subclasses. You can also add any modifiers that you get from items or anything like that. Here you can select, if you're a bard, you can select Jack of all trades, which will automatically add your half of your proficiency to all of your rolls. You can also select that you have expertise and not just proficiency in a skill. And you can add any modifiers, again, given you by special items, special things, various bonuses. Also, if you have the observant feat, you can change your passive perception, add the +5 that goes with it here, things like that. You can also set the sheet to make it an NPC. We'll see that later, probably in another video about setting up NPC sheets for the DMs. You don't need to worry about that a little bit. All right. So here we are, we have a cleric. It's not going to be level 20, it's going to be level 1. You're going to want to change those ability scores. Let's say you're a human. You'll get your +1 to everything. Let's say you rolled your stats and you have a 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 13 constitution. I'm just making it up. You have a 6 intelligence for some reason. You have 17 wisdom, and I don't know, 11. What did I do? No, I pressed the wrong button. Don't mind me. 11 charisma. It will automatically set your modifiers. As you can see, you just enter the scores. It sets your modifiers. You can see that your saving throws are done here, automatically adjusted. So are your skills. Let's say that you're proficient in religion and medicine. That would make sense. And then you get 2 more proficiencies from your background, which will be I don't know, insight and arcana, whatever your background is. You can add your background here, custom. You can add your alignment here, lawful good, and if you're tracking experience points, you can track them here. You can add your hit points, which at first level it's D8 for the cleric. You have +1, so it would be 9. Your current hit points is 9. You have 1 hit die. Okay. So far so good. You can add personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws here as text. You can track that you have 1 channel divinity and that if you have not used it. If you have other resources, you can track them here. You can add some, like add a whole bunch, and you can, hello. Ah, you might not be able to erase those because Roll20 is doping, but you should be able to. You can track your money here. I don't know, you have 15 gold and 3 silver for some reason. You can add your tool proficiencies if your proficiency in, say, herbalism, herbalist kit. I don't remember the exact name, it doesn't matter. You can even set that you have expertise with it. If you don't, but you're a bard, you can say that you have jack of all trades, so half of your proficiency. It would depend on your wisdom for that one, and tada, you know you have a +5 when making checks with your herbalist kit. Its more useful one is the thieves tools that you would keep track of here. That uses your dexterity. You might be even an expert in it. Obviously not if you're a cleric, but that's where you would keep track of that. Here you can keep track of your other proficiencies like languages. You speak Common, Dwarvish, and Abyssal. Why not? You can also keep track of the weapons you're proficient with, like only simple weapons for a cleric. You can keep track of the armors you're proficient with, light, medium, shields. It's a good place to keep track of those things. And if there's something else that you want to note here, I don't know what it would be, but something that doesn't require checks, that would be in tools. And again, if you click on the little thing here, you can reorder them by dragging the thing here from order of what seems to be the most important to you to what is the least important. And you can erase things that you don't need. If you click on the cogwheel, you can edit them. If you click on the thingy itself, it will put it in the chat. It will ping it in the chat. Whereas if you click on your thieves tools, wow, snake eyes, I double ones. I have it set to always roll with advantage, so that's why it's good. That's more reasonable. That's more reasonable. All right. Likewise, if you just click on your skills, it will roll for you. It will roll persuasion. It will roll medicine. And it can roll your wisdom saves also for you, or your strength saves, or any kind of save you're being asked to do. Of course, you can still, like, if your DM allows it, you can still roll manually and just have the numbers here, so that you know you don't have to look it up. Wow, today is not a good day for me to roll. I am DMing tonight, so my players will be happy to know that I roll like shit today. Alright, what else would you want to know? You can keep track of your death saves here. You can roll a death save from here. That's one failure. It doesn't add it automatically though, you still have to keep track of them. Let's roll a bunch. That's a success. That's another success. So you can keep track of them, and if you come back up, you can just erase them. Another thing that's really useful is the equipment. On the tab up there, you have a little eye. You will not have Art Library unless you're a DM. You have the Compendium, and you can look for a whole lot of stuffs in there, including your starting equipment, which would have, say, an Explorer's Pack. You start typing, you have Explorer's Pack. You can just, from where it shows up here, click and drag it into your inventory, and ta-da, it is here. And you can even have the information that will, in the description, tell you what's in it. It automatically tells you, tracks how much it weighs, and you can set that you have 2 of them for some reason, and your carry weight will double. Again, some DMs will have you track those things, some won't. You can also just click on it to have it show up as a pop-up for yourself. But to drag it to your inventory, that's how you do it. Let's say you start with a longsword. Let's say you start with a magical longsword +1 because your DM is generous and gives you a magical longsword +1. You can drag it from here, and you can see it just appeared in your attacks, and automatically tells you it does 1d8 plus 3 slashing damage. It has a magic bonus of 1, the attack roll, and in the damage roll. Well, because it's a magic bonus, it goes to attack and bonus. It also rolls the damage for if you're using it two-handed. So that's how it does it. If you click on it, whoop, it tells you longsword, hey, nat 20, or if you're rolling at disadvantage, 16. And if it hits, you can just click on here. And it will tell you the damage, which is that's the damage if you roll at advantage as a d8. If you roll a crit as a d8, you have the 11 would be if it's not a crit, +5 as if it's a crit, and that is if you were rolling d10s instead. That's if it's not a crit, and +10 is if it is a crit. Probably better to start with something that isn't versatile. Let's say short sword. Short sword. So you have a normal short sword. Ah, damn it. Okay, did the thing where I broke it. Sometimes, if you release it in the wrong place, you need to redo the thing. I'm sorry, I decided to do that on a spur of the moment thing. I did not prepare anything for this video. I am a bit all over the place, and I apologize for it. Okay, we were working on Aiden. Please show up. Game. Game. Oh, I love when Roll20 just... No, I didn't ask you to do that. There we go, character sheet. Alright, back to where we were. We were dragging a short sword from the compendium. A simple short sword, which being dragged into your item sorts itself here. So you have, if you're not rolling with advantage, it's the first thing that counts, whatever. It says you rolled a d6 plus 2, which because for some reason the short sword is set to my dexterity, but my strength is better. Excuse you. I'll use my strength. Thank you very much. Let's try again. I see I had a plus 4, now I have a plus 5. And you can see the damage here rolled is a d6 plus 2, which was 2 plus 2 for piercing damage. And basically when you roll a crit, it tells you the damage. I'm going to roll with the longsword again for clarification. So that's if I was rolling a d8, and that's if I was rolling a d10, basically, because it's versatile and you can use it with one hand or two hands. Anyways, you can also drag things like armor. Let's say you're wearing studded leather. It will find it, so you have also studded leather armor +1, +2, and so on. Hop, there you go. And my armor class, which was tracked automatically, takes into account that I have a studded leather, which makes my armor 12 plus my dex mod, and it's now 14. Before it would say 12 because it was unarmored 10 plus 2. And if I have a shield, let's say, no, not the spells, the items. I have a shield +2 again because I have a very generous DM that throws a whole bunch of stuff at me when I'm level 1. And my AC has gone up to 18 because you get the +2 from the shield and the +2 from it being magical. Your speed would be 30 because you're human. Alright, so that's very useful if you're looking for various items that you start with. You can also start with a long bow and drag it here and so on. And if you have a special attack that isn't like that's with a special item, you can set it up yourself. Like say you have your oh I don't know, you have something special, you have a fire short sword. It is an attack plus strength. You're proficient with. It has the damage of a short sword, which is 1d6 plus your strength slashing. And it also rolls an additional 1d4 of fire damage. And the enemy has to make a saving throw. Let's say it's something linked to the fact that you're I don't know, against the DC that's set from your strength. And if he saves, he takes half of the fire damage. Okay, that's a very specific thing, but you can totally set it up. And when you roll it, fire short sword, let's say you hit, it rolls, it tells you you need to make a DC 13 constitution save, or you, if you pass, you have the fire damage. And that's the slashing damage, that's the fire damage. Apparently I typed 1dd4, so yeah, that would not be rolling properly. Whatever. I can roll it again. There. Alright. So that's how you set up attacks. Well, weapons. You can set up your own attacks with your special weapons. And then here you can add your features and traits. Let's say you get from being a human, let's say you went variant human. I know I said normal human, but whatever. So you get a feat when you start. And let's say I'm gonna go grab a feat, random feat. Feats, where are my feats? Let's say you have I don't know, something simple like durable. You took durable. The source is racial because you got it from being a human, human variant. Actually, the source is a feat, which you got as being a human variant. And here you can say that you've increased your constitution score by 1, so let's say you've done that. Your constitution is now 14. That's not something you need to write down, but when you roll a hit dice, you regain to regain hit points. The minimum number of hit points you regain from the roll equals twice your constitution modifier. You would type all that blah blah here so that you can remember it, and you can have it either show up or you can reduce it so that you can go and check it out when you need to. And if you want to ping it for your DM or for everyone else to see what it does, you can add it here. You can do it with your class features too. Like, let's say, as a cleric, what do you get special? You get your channel divinities. You can add your channel divinities here. Channel divinity, turn undead, which I know you don't get at level 1, doesn't matter. The source is, it's a class feature that you get from being a cleric. And you would have the explanation of how it works here. You can copy and paste it from somewhere or just type it or type a summary of it. And again, just if you need to edit it, the little cogwheel. If you want it to not show, you can just click on it to hide or show, and you can ping it for others. So that's rather useful. Here you have the bio tab where you can type in your age, your size, your height, weight, description, appearance, take notes. There's nothing special about this tab. It's just that's where you might want to store some information that maybe the secrets in your backstory, you want them there, but the main info that everyone knows, you can add them on the first page. It can be useful. Now the spell page. The spell page, you can painstakingly add every detail of the spell by hand by copying it, or if you have a custom spell or a spell that's from additional material, you'll have to do it by hand. But if it is a PHP spell, it is also in the compendium. Let's say as a cleric, you have Sacred Flame in your cantrips. You can click and drag it onto the page, anywhere in the page really, and it will put it in the right place. And likewise, if you need to move things around or something, you also have thaumaturgy. And you start with like 4 spells, I believe. Let's say you have Mending. It will find it in the spell compendium. And you have I don't know. You have Resistance, which is a spell here. All right, and here you can move them around in the order that you want. Like, oh no, I want them to be by alphabetical order. Oh no, I want them to be by the order of what I use the most. And you can erase them if you are changing your mind or added the wrong thing. From the spell page, you can ping them. And if it's set up to be an attack, it will show as such, which Sacred Flame is a dexterity save, and it will roll the damage for you automatically. But things like resistance, it will ping the spell itself. If you would rather have it just ping the spell and not do the attack, you can set that up here as output. Here it is marked as attack, but if you want the spell card, you put it down like such, and instead you get the spell card being pinged when you click it. And if it is set as an attack, it will also appear on your core attack here. So you can also do that directly from this page. Other spells will automatically put themselves in the proper place, like Spiritual Weapon. Hello. Oh, am I on the wrong? I was on the wrong tab. Spiritual Weapon will put itself in your 2nd level spells. And from starting level 1, you can indicate if it's a spell that is prepared or not for prepared spellcasters. As a druid or a cleric, you'll want to load in all of your spells. Note that spells like Leomund's Tiny Heart, Bigby's Hand, Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mention, because this is the Roll20 is not an official app. It is it's using what's free of use. The names like Leomund, Mordekainer's, Otulik, whatever his name's resident sphere is, those spells show up as Tiny Hut and not Leomund's Tiny Hut. But it is the same spell, and if you really want to, you can still you can add the Leomund back in the title. Like I do that, but if you're lazy, you might not want to bother. And like I don't remember what Bigby's Hand is under, so let's just try Hand. I think it's Arcane Hand. Anyway, if you're the spell you're looking for, you're like, why can I not find it? That might be why it has a name in it. So you'll want to try to look for it without the name. Strangely enough, there are a couple of spells that you can't find, like Friends. Friends isn't in the spells. I don't know why. But yeah. Automatically when you drag them in, they'll show up as prepared and you can mark down that they're not. And things like Cure Wounds will show up here, and you can, it is set up to roll healing, not an attack, but healing, you can set that I cast it at level 4. Cure wounds, that's the healing that you would get from level 1, and that's the additional from the fact that you cast it at a higher level. Because of the way it's set up, it's set up to cast 1d8 of healing, add the ability mod to the damage or the healing, and healing at higher level is 1d8 per higher level. So that's the way it is set up. And interestingly enough, cure wounds will also show in your attacks. So you can, but it indicates that it's healing. You can totally roll it from here, and it will ask you at what level. And here you have, and it tells you also that it's a touch spell, so you need to be touching. Whereas spiritual weapon is an attack, so it makes the attack roll for you, and if it hits, it will roll the damage for you. Okay, I think that's about it all. For creating your own characters, you can drag and drop items from the compendium. You can also, of course, add them directly. Let's say you have a small rock that is not that small because it still weighs, well, no, it is small. It weighs 0.5 pounds. Pounds are a mystery to me. I have no idea if that's heavy or not for a rock. So you can totally add things manually if you want to. And you can even give them properties, like say that's a thing that has an attack, or that's a thing that, in which case you can see the small rock showed up here, and you can edit it to edit the attack to be used. You can have it as used as a resource, like how many small rocks do you have in your pack. You can also have it equipped or unequipped, like my if it's unequipped, it will not count in your weight carried, I think. I'm not sure. No, it totally still counts in your weight carried. Okay. But like, say I am having my long rest, so I'm not in my studded leather armor, I can unequip it, and that will be reflected in my armor class. And I think if I do the same with, say, my longbow, and I unequip it, nope, it still shows in my attacks. Never mind. Things I learned today. All right. I think that's about it. Oh, you can roll your hit dice also directly from here, I think. Yeah, it rolled it here, hit dice. So when you're hit dicing up, your passive perception is automatically calculated from your perception modifier here. You can mark down if you've been given inspiration. Mostly it's for DM inspiration, not bardic inspiration, but you can keep track of that here too, I suppose. Yeah, that's where you add various things that you want to have noted down somewhere. That's how you do the spells. You can see your spell save DC and your spell attack bonus are here. You can add character info in here, and all of your attacks will show up here. And if you don't want them to show up here, you're like, no, I want my spells to be only on the spell list, or I know I'm carrying a short sword, but I'm never gonna be using it. You can just erase them. Or if you want to have kill wounds up top, because that's the thing that you're gonna be using the most, you can move them around that way too. And yeah, that's how you customize your character and your character sheet. And when you level up, you can add your new hit points, and you can add your you can say that you're level 2. I'll roll a hit die to see how much HP I get. I get 7 plus my constitution modifier. I get 9 more HP. That is nice. I should have been at 10 actually at the start because of the constitution modifier, so that brings me to 19 total HP. And if I take damage, I can keep track of that here. And if I have a spell that gives me temporary hit points, I can keep track of that here. And I know how much weight I'm carrying. If I've done it that way, if I've put them manually, I might not have put in the weights, and I might not be keeping accurate track. And yeah, I think that's all the important stuffs for making your own character sheet on Roll20. And I hope this was useful to some people. And then there might be a couple more videos about making monster block stats, stat blocks. Words are hard. Monster stat blocks, setting up character tokens, things like that. But that will be done at a later time. And next time I will actually plan all the things that I need to show you guys. Like have a list and an order and not be so much all over the place. Or not. Who knows? Alright. Bye.